I think with Pierre we were very closely matched. It was just very hard to pass. I mean, I could pass.
Red Bull's car isn't slow because of bad engineering. It isn't slow because Max has lost his edge. It's slow because it's fat. 30 kilograms overweight fat. Leaked weighbridge photos from China show the RB22 sitting at 798.5 kilos, while McLaren is flying past them looking lean and hungry. But here's the twist nobody in the F1 world is talking about. This is actually the best news Red Bull fans could have received all season, and I'm going to prove it to you right now. Let's break it down. But before, if you want more coverage on Max and Red Bull, then hit that like button and subscribe for more breakdowns. Setup. What's actually going on? So before we go deeper, let me quickly set the scene for anyone who jumped in thinking this season was supposed to be Max's coronation lap. Coming into 2026, Red Bull looked like the team to beat. New regulations, new car concept, and Laurent Mekies now fully running the show. But the RB22 has been frustratingly off the pace, and Max has been finishing in places that look more like a Sunday road trip than a Formula One title fight. People are panicking. People are writing Red Bull off, and honestly, I get it. But they're solving the wrong problem in their head, and that's exactly what we're fixing today. And look, the frustration is completely valid when you watched Max dominate for 2 straight seasons. Seeing him stuck in the midfield genuinely hurts. But frustration and panic are 2 very different things, and right now, the F1 world is confusing one for the other. The weight revelation. Here's where it gets interesting. Every kilogram of extra weight in Formula One costs you roughly 0.03 of a second per lap. That sounds tiny, right? Now multiply that by 20 kilograms of surplus weight. Suddenly you're looking at 0.6 of a second gone, just like that, before the driver even touches the throttle. The RB22 isn't fighting McLaren on pace. It's fighting its own body weight first. And when you frame it that way, the whole picture changes completely. This isn't a philosophical design failure. This isn't Red Bull forgetting how to build fast cars overnight. This is a weight management problem. And weight problems, unlike concept failures, have a solution. Think about it this way. McLaren didn't suddenly become geniuses, and Red Bull didn't suddenly forget everything. The gap you're watching on your screen every Sunday is largely a weight gap. Fix the weight, and a massive chunk of that gap simply disappears. The engine is fine. Now here's the part that surprised me when I dug into this. Everyone assumed the Red Bull, powertrains, and Ford partnership would be the weak link. Brand new power unit, first proper season together, new regulations. But from what's coming out of the paddock, the engine partnership has actually started on solid ground. Yes, there have been some minor liability hiccups, but the power unit is not the main culprit dragging them down the grid. The chassis is too heavy. The engine is not broken. And that distinction matters enormously, because fixing a chassis weight problem is a completely different conversation than fixing a fundamentally flawed engine concept. One of those problems has a timeline. The other one keeps you up at night for 3 years. And honestly, the fact that the Ford partnership is holding up under pressure in year 1 is quietly one of the most underreported positive stories of this entire season. Nobody is giving that enough credit. Mekies is the reason to believe. This is the part where I want you to actually feel hopeful, rather than just intellectually understand why the situation isn't as bad as it looks. Laurent Mekies didn't walk into Red Bull as a fresh face with big ideas and no receipts. He came in mid-2025 when Red Bull were bleeding points, restructured the entire technical operation, and helped turn a 104-point deficit into a 2-point title loss. 2 points. That is not luck. That is someone who understands how to diagnose a problem and execute a fix under pressure. And here's what makes it even more credible. Max Verstappen himself said Mekies asks the right questions. They've had extensive conversations about what needs to change. When the driver and the technical director are genuinely aligned and communicating, upgrades don't just arrive, they arrive targeted. They arrive with purpose. That alignment between Max and Mekies is actually the most important detail in this entire story, because in 2023, the breakdown wasn't just technical, it was also human. Right now, the human side of Red Bull looks healthier than it has in 2 years. The Lewis-Hamilton mirror. But let's talk about the fear underneath all of this, because I know what's really worrying Red Bull fans right now. It's not just the car, it's Max's mood, it's the radio messages, the body language, the feeling that his patience has a very short expiry date. So let me hold up a mirror for you. Between 2022 and 2023, Lewis Hamilton had arguably the worst 2 consecutive years of his career. Mercedes built a fundamentally broken car, and Lewis was finishing 6th, 7th, sometimes worse. The same people saying Max is finished today were saying Lewis was finished back then too, old, past his peak, washed up. But here's what Lewis actually did. He didn't go public with ultimatums every weekend. He went quiet, sat in the engineering rooms, gave the team honest feedback lap by lap, and trusted that the people around him would eventually fix it. And they did. Max's situation right now isn't unique, it's familiar. And familiarity means there's a roadmap out of it. The hopeful conclusion. So let's put it all together. The RB22 is overweight, not fundamentally broken. The engine partnership is holding up better than anyone expected. Laurent Mekies has already solved a mid-season Red Bull crisis before. Max and Mekies are actively working together, not against each other. And history, recent documented history, shows us that the greatest drivers don't quit on bad cars, they outlast them. The narrative right now is all doom and gloom, but narratives in Formula One flip faster than people expect, and when they do, nobody remembers the panic. They only remember who called it early. Red Bull has the tools, they have the man, and they have the driver. When that first major upgrade package arrives and suddenly Red Bull jumps from P8 to podium contention, I want you to remember this video, because we're calling it now, before the narrative flips. What happens next? So to quickly wrap everything up, the RB22 is carrying 30 kilograms it shouldn't be, and that weight alone explains most of the pace gap you're seeing. The engine is fine. Mekies has done this before, and Max is handling it more like Lewis in 2022 than people want to admit. My personal take? Red Bull isn't in a crisis, they're in a delay. There's a massive difference between the two, and the upgrade timeline will prove that. But here's the question I'll leave you with, and I genuinely want to know what you think down below. The upgrade is coming, but will it arrive before Max Verstappen completely runs out of patience? Drop your answer in the comments. I'm reading every single one.